Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on now. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I think it goes something like this. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Cause every time I turn around, there's something trying to keep me down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Whoa, can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. When I look up, don't you know, burdens knocking at my door. So won't you come and take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Oh, come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Somebody come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Soon as I get up off the ground, my burdens knock me right back down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Oh, off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Get them off of me, off of me. Come and break the chain. Come and break the chain. Get it off of me. Get it off of me. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody to get this burden. To get this burden. Can somebody take these burdens off of me?
Hey guys, hello. Let me get myself on here for a minute. Let me put myself a little bit bigger so I can see myself. I was texting Trevor, message back and forth. I was texting Trevor. You guys know who Trevor is, right? You know who Trevor is, right? Okay. Trevor Julie is a bonus son. When I say bonus son, even though Ronald and I are not together, I still see Trevor as my son. He's my bonus son. I will never, ever separate from him. Trevor is going to be my baby for life. So he's my bonus son. So we've been texting each other back and forth. Okay, customer balance. Oh, wow. I was asking him to come in the chat, and he told me he couldn't come in the chat because he doesn't have any more minutes on his phone. Because the way they do phones in Africa is totally different from the way they do it here. Because we get unlimited data and stuff like that. They don't have that over there. Let's see. He says he's going to come in just to say hi for a minute. But he's not going to be able to stay on because he doesn't have enough data on his phone. So he should be in here for a second. Do you think Lil Baby will go be the next RICO victim? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the case that he's supposed to be part of, they already they have been indicted already. Hey, Lolly Time, thank you for the super sticker, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. How many of you guys have? Let me tell you why I'm up. I'm up because I slept the whole afternoon. And then I'm still going to church tomorrow. So, today. I'm still going to go to church today. I'll probably come home and go to sleep afterwards, but I'm going to go to church today. You guys know Friday I go to court. I go to court for God regarding the case that's against me. Let me show you guys. Hold on a second. Let me show y'all what I'm dealing with. Hold on a second. I'm going to open it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh my God. Shut up. Shut up, Alexa. She all up in my business. I didn't ask her for no help. I did not ask that woman for no help. I did not ask her for any help. She's going to open up her mouth. I don't know what Judge Glanville is up to. I haven't seen him at all, but I'm going to go check him out. Yeah, she listened too much. But hold on, let me show y'all what my case is all about. Hold on a second. Because pretty soon I'm gonna share everything about my case with you guys once it's over with. But right now, I'm just gonna show you what I'm being charged with. Okay. Here's the charges right here. Here's the charges. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charges. It is criminal trespassing, right? Stalking, harassing phone calls, conspiracy to commit a crime, and conspiracy to commit a crime. It was 7. I don't know what happened to the 1. 1 is missing. They got it down at 6. It was 7. But those are the charges that I got. These are the charges. Yep, those are the charges. You see it? Criminal trespassing, right? Stalking, harassing phone call, conspiracy to commit crime, and conspiracy to commit crime. Those are the charges. Definitely I'm innocent, but you know what? I want to read something to you guys that's on the what that person says. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to you guys. Hold on. And y'all tell me what do you believe? I'm going to read it to you guys. Just hold on a second. Okay. I'm going to read. Hold on a second. I'm going to get my. Hold on. Get my iPad. Hold on a second. I'm pulling it up on my iPad. Okay, hold on. I'm almost there, y'all. I'm almost there. Okay, you ready? Let me read it to you guys. You guys ready? All right, here's what it says. It says the accused, the accusation. It says here, I, Charles Brooks, as the prosecutor attorney for the state of Georgia and Clayton County, on behalf of the people in the state and county, do hereby charge and accuse Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of criminal trespassing unlawful. For the accused on, listen to this, listen to the date, y'all. On the first day of June 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did knowingly and without authority enter into the premises of D, you know who that person is, located at, we know who that person is, okay? And it says count number 2. The prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of stalking for the accused, that the accused on the first day of June in Clayton County, Georgia, did place under surveillance blank, the person name, without the consent of that person for the purpose of harassing and intimidating said person. Now, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? For harassing and intimidating said person. Then count number 3. The prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of stalking, and says for that accused on the first day of June in Clayton County, Georgia, did through her agent Christopher V. Gunn place under surveillance the person name at and then the address without the consent of the said person for the purpose of harassing, intimidating said person. Defendant is culpable for the action of her agent. So they saying I had somebody to put I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but this is what the accusation is. Okay. Hold on. Let me finish. Without the consent of said person for the purpose of harassing and intimidating said person, defendant is culpable of the action of her agent under OCGA 16-2-20B, for which states that a person may be charged with a conviction and convicted of commission of a crime if he or she intentionally advise, encourage, hires, counsel, and procure another to commit a crime. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? They claim I hired Christopher Dubowski to there's got to be a law for lying. Do you know there's got to be a law for lying? Seriously, y'all. There's got to be some sort of thing for you. How can you? Let me just shut up. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. Okay. Number 4. Count number 4. The prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of harassing communication for that accused on the 1st of June 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did through her action or action of her agents. You hear this, right? Her agents by the mean of telecommunication, email, text messaging, social media, and other forms of electronic communication contacted for the purpose of harassing, molesting, threatening, and intimidating such person or the family of such person. Y'all, do y'all hear this mess? Do you hear this mess, y'all? Do you hear this mess? Do you hear this? Okay, I'm going to read the other one. Do y'all hear this mess? Do you hear this mess? Do you hear it? Okay, here's the other counts. Count 5. Do y'all hear this mess? Count 5. The prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of harassing communication for the accused on the first day of June 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did through her agent, Christopher V. Gunn, by the means of telecommunication, email, text messaging, social media, and other forms of electronic communication, contact another for the purpose of harassing, molesting, threatening, and intimidating such person or the family of such person. Defendant is culpable of the action of her agent under OCGA 16-2-20B and 4, which states that a person can be charged with or convicted of the commission of a crime if he or she intentionally advise, encourage, hires, counsels, or procure another person to commit a crime. Y'all, Jesus. Okay, it's more, y'all. Jesus. Okay, count number 6. The prosecutor hereby further charges and accuses Sylvia Parks Tomasini with the offense of conspiracy to commit a crime for the accused on the first day of June 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, did unlawfully conspire with Christopher Gunn, aka Dubowski, and a person identified only as Randa Baby to commit the offense of stalking, and in furtherance of said conspiracy called for an open harassment on blank and the publishing of Mr. Blank's private information, including but not limited to the address commonly known as doxing. The action of Mr. Gunn and Randa Baby were done to effect the object of conspiracy. Do you hear this, y'all? Do you hear this mess? Do you hear this mess? Do you hear this mess? Randa's not charged, but they saying that I hired Randa and I hired Dubowski to do this to him. Do you hear this mess, y'all? Do you hear this mess? Do you hear this mess? Nothing but lies. Do you see how the justice system is, y'all? I went to jail for 8 days. And these are the charges that I was charged with. 8 days, y'all. And These are criminal charges. These are criminal charges, Himati. This is criminal charges. This is not countersued type of civil charges. You guys, y'all keep hearing about a tracker. I was not charged with a tracker. If you guys see this, I was not charged with a tracker, about a tracker or AirTag. That's not what the charges are. Did y'all hear what the charges were? Because it's not illegal for a tracker on someone's car in Georgia. The things that I'm charged with: criminal trespassing. He's saying that I came to his house. Stalking, harassing communication, and conspiracy. Those are my charges. Those are my charges. And you guys wonder why. You guys wonder why I am so pro defense. I was arrested back. I was arrested. I spent 8 days in jail. Eight days in jail. Eight days. That's something I can't get back. I know, Raza, you might think this is a joke. This is not a joke for me. It's not a joke. You can LOL all you want. I'm about to block you in a minute because this is very sensitive for me and you think it's a joke. It's not a joke. So I'm going to give you a warning. Please refrain because this is not funny. This is my life. I know it's funny for you because it's not you. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. One more comment, I'm going to block you. I'm serious. She's about to get blocked, Rita, in a minute. She say one more smart remark, making one more joke. She's about to get blocked. Because it's not funny. I don't care what she think. If it was her or her family member, she wouldn't be laughing. Okay, fine. You don't care. Bye. You gone. I got her. But let me tell you something. When you laugh at somebody, you just better be careful. Better be careful. We do serve a God that do handle situations like this. But anyway, y'all, let's get back to my conversation with you guys. And they think it's funny. You know, only idiots would do laugh at something like that. Only somebody who don't have real sense. They may hide behind a keyboard, but God sees them. They might hide behind a keyboard. Hey, Tanja. They might hide behind a keyboard. It's just pretty sad how folks are just like that. But it is what it is. It is unfortunate. Yeah, Sharon, we're still up. I slept all day. That's why I'm up. I slept all day. But I do need to go to bed within the next hour because I'm going to go to church. I'm going to church in the morning. Tell Glass, what time you going to bed? Why are you still up? It's almost 12 o'clock. Guess who liked my picture? I just saw who liked my picture. Guess who liked my picture, y'all? Guess who liked my picture? The one I put on IG. Hey, AD. Just our New York stream live event. Saw you and dropped by to say hello. Hello. No, not Woody. It was Mariah the scientist, y'all. That was close. That's my baby. That was close. It was Mariah. It was Mariah. That was very close. Yeah, you was. You was very close. Mariah the scientist, his girlfriend. I mean, she's been busy bee, but she wouldn't like my thing today. She liked it. What's the next case I'm covering? I'm covering the young lady, hold on, let me show you what case I'm covering. Hold on. I'm excited about this case here. Hold on. I'm excited about the case that I'm covering. Wait. I'm going to show you the case that I am covering next. Hold on. Let me show you the case I am covering next. Hold on. Let me get it for you. Hold on, let me get it for you. Let me get it. This is the case I'm covering next. Hold on. I gotta put it up on the screen for you. Okay, hold on. This is the case. Yes, I will be in person covering this. It's in Albany, Georgia. And I'll be in person covering it. All right, this is it right here.
It is one of Georgia's oldest cold cases, and after 35 years, the mystery has been solved, and baby Jane Doe has a name, Kenyatta Odom. While it reads like a mystery novel, it is real life, and it was solved through persistent detective work by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the Ware County Sheriff's Office. Joining me live via Zoom from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent in Charge, Jason Sechrest. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
Sure. This is the story that has the body of a small child that was found wrapped in a baby blanket, placed in a gym bag inside a cement-filled suitcase, which was then hidden in a TV console cabinet in Ware County in 1988, 35 years ago, and culminated in 2 arrests, and you finally being able to identify that 5-year-old baby. How did that big break come about?
Well, first, it started with just good investigative work from the very beginning. This case was worked very hard from the time that the GBI was called in collaboration with the Ware County Sheriff's Office. The work never stopped. But in 2019, we began to look at DNA genome sequencing and being able to try to match that with genealogy records. And 2022, that got us to some known family members in Albany, but didn't quite get us far enough. At that point, it was just solid investigative work by the agents and the investigators to track down. And then really the deal breaker was a tip. We got a tip from the public that narrowed us down to right where we needed to be. And then it was just investigative work, continuing to investigate, continuing to interview, continuing to check records, just continuing to put the work in. This is a great case of the combination of forensic technology and then also good investigative work, solid work by the agents and the investigators. And it just brought us to the answer.
So let me back up a bit and explore the timeline a bit further. The body was found in 98. Evidence was found, as you said, tying her to Albany, Georgia. And you found she was killed, but the cause of death couldn't be determined at that time.
That's correct. They weren't able to determine the manner of death as homicide, but because of the condition of the child, they were not able to determine a cause of death. And that is something that is being reviewed by the medical examiner's office right now as we have gained more information through the investigation.
So then we fast forward to 2019. You mentioned genome sequencing was used to tie the remains to a family tree in Albany. But then you got a tip from the public in 2022, which just goes to tell us that there's always somebody out there that knows something. Did you wonder why somebody sat on that for so long?
You do wonder, and you just never know. I was talking to one of the former agents that was working this case 10 years ago. He and I had a phone call, and there was a lot of media releases through the years about this. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes there's just a moment in time in a person's life where it just strikes them hard enough that they realize they need to call somebody, which is why we never stop working these cases. We never stop trying to make media announcements because we never know when that right person is going to come forward to give us the tip that we need.
2 people arrested: the child's mother, Evelyn Odom, also known as Zemeka Luciana, and her stepfather, Ulysses Sanders. They flew under the radar for 35 years. So I don't know if you can talk about this because it's still a fresh case. When agents swooped in and made the arrest, they had to have been shocked.
Well, there had been contact prior to the arrest where we had reached out to them. So I don't know how shocked they were, but I think when we initially contacted them, there was definitely some surprise that for all these years they were being asked questions about Kenyatta.
Personal question. As a police agency, as somebody who's worked on this case, there has to be a satisfaction that a case that is 35 years old has been solved And perhaps even more importantly, this little girl has a name.
Absolutely. When you go back and you read the case file and you look at the pictures, and to think that a parent actually tossed this child basically into an illegal trash site off the side of the road, it is heartbreaking to consider what that child lived through. That wasn't just a one moment in time. People don't get to that point generally just in one moment. To think of the life that that child had to live through even up to that point, and then to just be thrown away. The satisfaction of the agents and the investigators and myself that have worked on this case, and all the agents and investigators that have worked on it through the years, I can't express it in words. We have received, phone calls and messages from other people that have worked on this case through the years, and everybody is just thrilled that this was able to come to a conclusion, not only in identifying her, which is difficult enough, but also in getting enough evidence to secure an arrest.
And I've got to ask you, I said this is one of the oldest cases, cold cases in Georgia. If I'm not mistaken, there's another that's something like 65 years old. Does it make you wonder, hey, maybe, just maybe, we'll get to the bottom of that one?
There are, and there are a lot of cold cases that are being worked just as hard as this, and that we are looking at forensic evidence that can be reevaluated with new technologies. I believe that we are going to continue to see these cold cases solved based on that new technology. The GBI has even started up a new cold case unit that is purely dedicated to evaluating these cold cases and being able to look at evidence that can be tested in a way that wasn't available at the time that the crimes were committed. I think we're going to continue to see more of these cases solved.
And to the public, if something jogs your memory, if you saw something, even if it was many, many years ago, hey, get in touch with you, right?
Absolutely. It's incredibly important that working an investigation and bringing it to a conclusion is not magic. It does take, yes, knowledge and dedication of the agents and investigators that work it, but sometimes we need a tip. We need that right piece of information that pushes us over the finish line. So if you think you have that information, please call the tip line. On any case, we do continually get tips, and we do continually investigate those. It's part of our ongoing process in working these cold cases.
Jason Sechrist, thanks for your time. Have a great day. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, that's the case I'll be working on, y'all. That's the case I'll be working on. I'll be working on that case. And one of the YSL attorneys, he's going to be on that case as well. He's on that case. You guys should know who that is, right? You know who that is that's going to be on that case? Let me show y'all. Hold on. Hold on a second. Just a second, y'all. All right, hold on a second. Let me show y'all who I am interviewing. Who is going to be the person that's on. Hold on a second. This is who is the person that. This is the person that is going to. Who's doing the case. This is Lamar. How you doing?
I am well, thank you. Just doing a little work. Took a break from working a little. That's it.
Okay, thank you for giving me the time. I won't
You're
keep you
welcome.
long. I won't keep you long at all because I know you're a busy man. But did you get a chance to breathe since the YSL?
I have. I absolutely have. This month of December, I spent most of the December in Jamaica. And I came back after,
Really?
yeah, I came back after Christmas.
Wow. So
Hmm
how many weeks was that?
I think I spent like 2 weeks in Jamaica.
2 weeks in Jamaica? Okay. All right. Mr. Gonzo, you well rested?
Well rested. Well rested.
Well rested. So,
Ready
huh?
ready for what's forthcoming.
All right. Okay. So, question: have you had an opportunity to see what's going on in the second half of the YSL?
Unfortunately, I have not. But you know what? I knew that question would come up, and right before you brought me on, I was sitting here looking. I think they had a hearing like 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I was just watching that hearing, but I haven't. I had to mentally, I had to step away from YSL so that I could focus on other work. You
Okay.
know, YSL it consumed us for a long time. so, you know, so
So
yeah, I
no,
have.
you didn't get a chance.
I haven't had a chance to follow up with the second half. YSL 2.
There was no YSL too, yo. Opinion on it? That one.
Um, if I'm being honest, I don't know. I don't. These the two who's left. We have Eppinger and we have who left?
Garlington
Garlington.
and McMullen.
Okay. Question: do you know had either of them been offered a plea?
They all been offered a plea,
They all been offered a plea. I think
and they
Eppinger is
rejected.
he's what Eppinger is already serving quite a bit of time, right?
45 years.
45 years. Oh, I mean, I'm not saying just take the plea because you're already serving 45 years, but I mean, I don't think that these three. I don't know if I'd want to see these three take it to trial. To be honest, Eppinger. I mean, we've seen a lot of the evidence, the video evidence against Eppinger, and that doesn't mean anything. I mean, even though it is damning, he's. I mean, I guess he doesn't necessarily he doesn't have to say, okay, just because I got this video, I'm taking this plea. But I wouldn't put it before a jury. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's different now when you sitting by yourself. You're not sitting with like a team of defendants, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you pretty. I mean, it's one, two or three of y'all. I mean, I think I would smile by the time of start, someone else would drop out. Garlington. I'm a little surprised that Garlington is going through with it. I am and I'm not. Garlington, of course, you know his name came up quite a bit in YSL one, and so I don't. Even with Garlington, I probably still wouldn't take it to trial. I'll be real hesitant if I was one of those defendants left to really take this case to trial, especially with the three whom are left, Eppinger and Garlington together. I don't know if that'll fare well for them in the end. But
But
hey, that's just
McMullen is not that harsh.
right. That's why I didn't
For
really
him.
name McMullen.
Mhm.
Because McMullen is I don't to be honest, going through the evidence, out of all the evidence, I don't really remember much about McMullen.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, give me a nickname. Do you got a nickname?
Nard. That's his other
Nard.
nickname.
Okay,
Nard.
Nard.
Not
Okay,
the
that's it.
first, not the Nard Minder
You got
Nard, the other
Mender
Nard.
Nard. Okay, so second Nard. Okay. Second Nard. Um, I don't know, and it's fleeting from my memory now, but I still don't remember much. I very remember a little about Nard too, but not much.
Okay. What about your client? Because a lot of people were saying your client name was not mentioned much at all, but he ended up taking a plea.
That was a little surprising. I mean, I agree. We didn't. I think what we had early on maybe was like this petty drug charge, and that's pretty much what I handled when we first began right after jury selection, we first started trial. Some of the first witnesses were for a drug case that my client had, which wasn't much at all. I think I showed that it was mainly just like for one, a roach
Hey,
and
lovely.
a bag full of
Yeah.
tobacco, mostly with a sprinkle of weed. And then we have that murder case, but we all saw how that turned out. I mean, he couldn't be identified, to have killed Mr. Drinks. And so he did not have a lot of evidence against him, but at the same time, we never push pleas on clients. It's their decision to take a plea. And although we felt confident in his defense, we also felt confident in his decision to take a plea. We may not be the ones to force him to take it, but we do support our client's decision to plea. But I mean, the evidence against him, we saw that it was none.
But couldn't you convince him? No, hey, we're winning. Don't do it.
I could convince him, but I think you have to also, even Mr. Bruce Harvey was the lead attorney, so I'm co-counsel. He hired me on. So although if I wasn't aligned with Bruce or didn't necessarily feel like, okay, you need to hurry up and take this plea, I still would have to, I can't backdoor lead counsel in any decision that him and the client has discussed. I'd be out of line if I backdoored him. Now it'll be different if Mr. Nichols would come to me and like, what do you think? And he did, and I expressed how I thought, but ultimately still it was his decision.
Yeah, when I spoke with his wife, he was tired of just going back and forth and just wanted some sort of resolution. And you don't know how the jury is going to vote,
right.
So you just rolling the dice and trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. So it is what it is.
I think when people look at the case and they see the results that Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell were able to get, its trial wouldn't have been that truncated had all the defendants stayed. We would still be in trial. The defense had a number of witnesses they would call, so we would still be in there. So a lot of those guys, I mean, they were exhausted, going on 2 years, getting up early morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, like that's exhausting, and so they fought for a long time and they fought hard, but we all do grow weary.
Okay. Right now, Garlington is facing the Drinks murder now, since everybody else didn't get didn't get convicted of it. So he's the only one left that could possibly get a conviction on the on the Drinks case.
I doubt if he'll get. I doubt if he'd get a conviction on the Drinks case. That, like I said, that was our case. We studied that case. I studied that portion of the case because we were coming up. We were probably like a week shy of starting the Drinks case before we actually took a week or two shy of starting the Drinks case before we played out. And I'll tell you, in that case, honestly, you can't point to one person who they have, alleged to have committed that murder or been a part of that murder. Not Drinks, not Nichols, not Stillwell, not Miles. No one that they're accusing of killing Drinks can be associated. I mean, there's no evidence associating any of those with the Drinks murder. I mean, so you saw the video.
Yeah, I saw the video. That's a good thing. So then Garlington does have a great chance then.
In every respect, he does. He does. I couldn't remember what all Garlington was indicted on. I know it was he originally? I knew his name. He was mentioned in the Drinks, but I couldn't remember what else he had facing him. I just know Garlington. We heard a lot of his name come up quite a bit. So.
Yeah, definitely. And how was your practice since this case? Are you private practice? Are you part of the
No, I'm private practice.
Okay. Did you have to put up a lot of your cases during this time?
To be honest, I was able to get a lot of cases resolved during this time. So a lot of the DA's offices around Georgia, they knew we'd be in trial for a long time. So believe it or not, I was able to get some great deals. I was able to get a lot of cases dismissed. Felonies reduced to misdemeanors. A lot of felonies do resolve through pretrial diversion. I was able to get a lot, and my practice didn't take a hard hit either. I do a lot of civil work too. So I do like premise liability, like apartment shootings. And so my practice, it didn't take a hit financially. I wouldn't have let it.
Okay. Okay.
I built my practice to where I wouldn't have let it fall financially for one trial.
Yeah. Well, we had an opportunity where my group in here had an opportunity to watch you at work, because we never got a chance to see you during the YSL, only a little bit. So, but we got a chance to really see the real Mr. Gardner. And a lot of us was pretty impressed with you, yes, on Friday and during the days before the verdict came. But one of the things my chat was talking about how well you did in basically humanizing your client, because we saw that he was guilty. We saw it, right? But the way you made it, a lot of people started had some sort of sympathy for him. So how did you feel about that particular the case itself for you?
The case was this is the thing. Going in, we knew that there were some difficult facts. We were caught on camera committing this act. And so we knew, for one, we had to come up. If he wanted to go to trial, we knew we had to be clever in our defense. Now, this wasn't necessarily a domestic case. They made it a domestic case. It wasn't. The girl involved wasn't necessarily the victim in this case. But because they made it one, she was just this. My client really was deeply in love with this girl, really took care of her like it was, he had to do absolutely nothing. But the narrative that I gave about, she stringed along, she did a lot of that. She did a lot of, going back and forth, like, you're my man, I want you, and then to I don't want you, to you're my man, I want you, till I don't want you. And, and then, of course, you just can't toil with people heart, mental, like, and so, and I'm trying not to say too much because we still have sentencing coming up, right?
I know.
But it was, let's just say it was a difficult case to really come up with a theory for it. But I will say this, our theory, it worked. And I know that you may think, how did it work? And they found him guilty. Well, it's always good to talk to the jury after the fact, right? Because although I knew a lot of the witnesses that would come and say, okay, I knew I was disproving the state's theory that they were broken up and he was this jealous boyfriend, right? The state necessarily didn't really know the case. The prosecutor had only been on it a couple of weeks, and all the evidence that was in this case, they didn't have time to digest it as we had. We were ready to take this case out 2 years ago. And we didn't look at it the whole time we were on YSL. So about 3 weeks ago, we found out we were going to trial. We pull it back out, right? The jury in this case was really in tune with the defense. They actually bought our narrative, and they told us that we would actually going to get a manslaughter verdict. However, on cross-examination,
you're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know.
Just one moment.
Okay. Well, I don't want to miss anything he has to say on this part.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it looks like you're frozen. There we go. I think you.
Okay.
All right.
Until we saw at the end of cross, my client kind of went in this trance, and according to him, after the fact, God told him to tell this truth, right? And so where we have been prepped, he was ready for anything that came his way. He knew how the prosecutor. advised him on how the prosecutor was going to come at him, insulting him as soon as she had a chance on cross. Every little thing he was prepared to do and say. He was ready. But somehow he had a moment on cross with God, and God told him to tell this truth that he had never told us before. And I don't know if you remember, and I at some point started objecting to like questioning, like it's argumentative and such, trying to get his attention. But I think he even knew what I was doing, trying to like stop him. But it was ultimately, he felt like God told him to tell the truth. I was pissed because I don't think we had to get on the stand to tell that. But I think in some way, I meant he wanted his family and the victim's family to know what happened that night. Was not my idea. It was not something that I had recommended. This is a guy that we prepped well to decide whether or not we would put him on the stand, because of course it's not criminal defense attorneys. We don't put our clients on the stand unless we really need to. This was a case that we needed to tell our story, and we needed him to tell it. And like I said, this was a brilliant guy. This was no idiot, mind you, like really brilliant guy. But like I said, it's somehow he had this guy convicted him on that stand, and that witness stand, and he'd start telling stuff that I'd never heard before. And talking to the jury said, even the jury told me that in my closing arguments, even with the guy being on what was shown on camera, and even him making that confession on the stand, that my closing still convinced him that it could be manslaughter. That's why they deliberated 5 hours. It was,
they could have did it right away.
But they were still convinced that it was manslaughter. But ultimately, they fell back on what he had said on the stand. And
what part do you think that really helped to convince them to go more towards the prosecution? Was it when he said he had the gun, or look into the guy's eyes?
Look into the guy's eyes, because the past incidents, the prosecution talked a lot about like those prior difficulties, like when he had the gun outside with his mom, all that stuff they were showing. The jury wasn't buying that. The jury told them in the back that they spent too much time on the past. And they was like, and Mr. Gardner told y'all that this was just to inflame the jury, told us that it was a waste of time. And then they get that jury charge to say, hey, these prior bad acts, that's not evidence, right? So they necessarily wasn't with the state at all, but it was the watch the life go out of his eyes. And then he said, and he also said on cross that when he went up to the door to chase Gabby, like he tried to get in the door. Well, that's something that not even the state's witnesses testified to, and that's something he said, and that's what got him. That's what got him the attempted murder conviction. That one statement.
Yeah, because they did not say, the mother, when she got up there, she never said, because when they asked her, did he try to bang on the door? Did he ring the doorbell? She said no.
They said no. He got on the stand at the end and said he tried to get in the door, and they told us that's what convicted him. I don't know what he was thinking on that stand. I truly don't. I don't know.
You feel he wanted to go to jail?
I do.
I mean, he was going to go to jail.
I think that he was going to go to jail, but he wasn't going to get life.
Yeah.
He was going to get he's already served 5 years. He was going to get 5 to 10 years. Judge was only going to give him 5 to 10 years, 10 at the max. He
would have been out within what, 3-4 years?
And he would have been out, and it's just, for the life of me, and it's bothered me this weekend, because for the life of me, I still can't understand why he sabotaged his own case,
Do you feel that because their relationship was gone? And did he have another girlfriend? I was trying to figure out, why did he have somebody else?
No, that's what everybody they thought that this guy, he had all his money and all that he would have. No, he really was in love with her.
Wow. And they painted him as an abuser, like the relationship that he couldn't have. Was he an abuser?
They had a really toxic relationship, right? Although it's something that the majority of us wouldn't agree with, that's kind of how they operated. And I'm not saying it's right, but that's how they operated. They were abusive to each other, like verbally, emotionally.
I say it seemed like, and then what really got me is when she talked about how she was still contacting him on the WhatsApp, and when she wasn't supposed to, there was a TPO out.
Mm-hmm.
but she still was contacting because she
But the
wanted money.
CPO was against her first baby daddy.
Oh, it wasn't against him?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
It was the first baby daddy.
okay.
But when they had the battery charges.
Yes, he was sentenced. This is back in January. This interview was back in January. He was sentenced to life.
Then in bond, they got the conditions that you ain't supposed to communicate with it. I mean, they can't communicate with each other because in one
Yeah.
case, both of them were like the victim and the defendant, right? So they couldn't contact each other, but they still did. And like I said, even when we argued, even the day before, I mean, the day of the murder, when she texted, she was like, when you act like you act like we together, we ain't together. But then the day before, it's like, I love you,
Yeah.
So it was always her building them up, and then she gets something, and then she knocking them down, building them up, knocking them down, and it was just a pattern of that. And in a lot of relationships where the man is the breadwinner, he's the dominant one. A lot of times that does come off as control, right? But I don't want to be condemned for this, but I get in a lot of times that's just the reality of those type of relationships where the man is the breadwinner, and the woman really she's just a made woman. She's just been taken care of, and that's what this relationship was like. That's not my type of relationship, but that was one that she got. That's how they operated in their relationship.
And then the thing is, to me, it seemed like she was manipulating him and trying to control. They both was controlling each other. That's what
for
I saw.
sure.
I
For
saw
sure.
both of them controlling each other.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. They absolutely were.
And then you know what, really too, remember the juries look at the when the mother was standing there trying to get her inside the house. She's standing there like, if you're scared of this man,
right,
you would have been like getting away from him, like, oh, I'm going in. But no, she was like bucking too. It's like, okay.
The jury didn't think she was scared. The jury also, another thing about that self-defense, I mean, not the self-defense, the attempted murder charge that we really would have beat but for his testimony on the stand, is that when she said that she heard a clicking, they didn't believe that she heard a clicking because all those gunshots, then her ears were obviously ringing and she wouldn't have heard a click. So it's a lot of testimony they didn't believe about her either.
Yeah.
And one thing they said about it is that, and let me tell you this, they did not believe, it wasn't that they didn't believe my client. They actually believed my client, but based on what he said. But they didn't believe Miss Gore at all.
Yeah. But question, why did you allow him to get on the stand when you guys, to me, was like really winning? But then when he got on there, he just like crushed everything and just like.
Well, this is the thing and it's almost like self-defense. So we arguing manslaughter, and that's a lesser included offense. So just like you would argue self-defense, you wouldn't necessarily argue self-defense and not put your client on the stand. The jury in these cases, and it's a hard decision a lot of times. The jury wants to hear a story sometime. If we're asking for something lesser, a lot of times the jury want to hear from the defendant. This is the thing, and this is what we keep saying. We were not dealing with a person who was an idiot who wasn't trained. He was he was very well prepped. He wanted to sabotage his own case. That was obvious on direct examination. I think we ended my direct, and it wasn't rehearsed this way, and it wasn't. But we ended it in tears, and so that's when the cross started. If you remember on direct, he did well on direct. It wasn't until he got on cross, and then towards the end of cross, even the way he stared at the prosecutor, he knew to treat her with the same respect I did, and he did. So, and this, like I said, this isn't something that we just worked on the night before. When we found out we were going to trial 3 weeks ago, we picked right back up with it. A lot of times for him to be prepped, and I wouldn't have put him up there if he was not ready. He's not ready. But the one thing about it is I knew something was going to go wrong. I woke up that morning sick as a dog, and I just couldn't shake it. And it wasn't sick as far as like flu or anything. It wasn't anything that medicine could fix, right? It was just my gut knowing that something would go wrong. And I asked about 5 times, "You sure you want to do it?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got to tell my story." But the last tell my story was just something about that was just a little eerie for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so once we were on cross and towards the end, when he had this moment, this revelation on the stand, and I knew then it was over with. I was fuming.
Mm.
You know,
Question: did he see the families hugging each other? Did he see that moment?
I don't know if he saw the families hugging each other,
I was gonna say
but
maybe that's why he wanted to do that, because the family was reconciling. It was like they were consoling one another. You know what I
right.
mean? So
He called me that night afterwards, and he told me, he was like, "Mr. Gardner, you did an amazing job. There's nothing else that nobody else I would have wanted representing me." He said he was at peace, and he was just had to do what God told him to do. You
okay.
know, and like I said, although I am pissed because, of course, I wanted that win.
You wanted to win,
A
yeah.
manslaughter verdict is definitely, that would have been a win. That was our plan. And we worked really hard. This is a case that I was able to use. We were able to get a juror removed. It was a juror that we didn't want from the beginning. But she slipped up and got on. We were supposed to we had her plan to strike her, right? It was between her and someone else, and I always wanted her stricken, and we forgot to come back up to her and strike her. So she ended up being on our panel. But I had to go. She couldn't, and she had to go because she couldn't even look at an autopsy report without crying, and so of course we argued that, of course, if she's not able to look at all the evidence, then she's not able to come to a decision on a just verdict. And so she's one of those ones, if you're already looking at pictures of a decedent's body and you're fainting and crying, then that tells me that my client doesn't have a fair trial with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get her removed. And we did get her moved.
You had that opportunity, you took it.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I still dwell on this. Damn, it could have been a good win. But it really had me going forward in a lot of cases that I have forthcoming. And like clients, a lot of times they want to testify, but like in this instance where I thought this whole time, 3 weeks, this my client is going to get up here, we're going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't never expect that. It was stuff said that I'd never heard before.
And it was hard to rebound.
And it was hard to rebound. One rule that we had going in is that never tell me anything new from that witness stand. We knew that was something we knew. I don't give a damn if I ask you something and you think the answer is something else. I haven't heard that answer. It's something you haven't told me, because he know what he's told me and hadn't told me. And so when that came out, like I said, I was defeated. And it just, in that moment, I just deflated sitting in my seat. I knew it was over when we had a fighting chance. And then, like I said, listening to the jury afterwards, we would have won that trial.
So now what happens now? Educate us on what happens. What's the next step with this?
So now we have sentencing. The judge, he'd have to be sentenced to life. The judge has discretion to sentence him to, life with or without parole. Okay. The felony murders, they'll vacate. The aggravated assault charge will merge into the murder. The attempt, he could likely get up to 30 years for attempt, but the judge can grant him life with or without parole.
Question: did he get a plea deal?
Life without parole.
That was the plea deal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So now it's a possibility.
It could have been, but if they would have entertained a life with parole, that's the only other offer they would have entertained. But he wanted to take it to trial.
So now, with everything that was given during trial, so the judge is the one that has to make that decision whether with parole or without parole.
Mm-hmm.
And
the judge would basically go off testimony in trial, and he can basically go off what the jury. What the
Okay,
jurors
so the
stated
jurors
to-
was there. He was there when the jurors was talking to
Oh
you.
yeah, he was in the jury. He was
Oh.
in the back when the jurors was talking to us for sure.
So then there is a possibility of with parole then.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, he could get it with parole too. He was back there when we were discussing it. You know, and Judge McAfee, that was the first time we tried a case in front of any of us had tried a case in front of Judge McAfee, you know, and it wasn't bad. Judge McAfee actually from that trial, you know, when that Friday when we were coming in before closing and right before we were doing a charge conference, he was like, Mr. Gardner, I want you trying more case. I want you to come try some more
We
cases.
heard it. No, we heard
I was
it.
like, no. I was like, no,
Look,
no.
speaking of hearing things, did you guys know you guys was on the mic, hot mic?
Absolutely not. We would have. No, we didn't. I obviously at the event didn't give a damn once I found out, but at the time, no, we didn't know that we were on the hot.
You should have seen your face when you found out you was on the hot mic. We were trying to help you. We were trying to.
You didn't try to. You could have texted me.
I did text you. I
Oh,
did.
yeah,
I
you
was
did.
trying to text you, but you never looked at your phone. You just kept talking and kept talking. Just remember from now on, whenever you go to McAfee's courtroom, there is always a hot mic.
That's
You
always
hear
a
all the
hot mic.
conversations.
Indeed, indeed. But no, it was a last week. It was I was like I said, I was exhausted. I slept Friday and Saturday because doing trial, you know, it's and this trial, of course, it was different YSL. Of course, YSL every day we knew what to expect, but this one coming in, you know, it was a lot of moving parts. And then this was my case, you know. This is.
Oh, so you was the lead attorney?
I was the lead attorney.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
All
I was the lead attorney on this, and so, you know, it's you gotta really be on your toes when you lead attorney. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of listening, seeing everything. You know, even in that closing, I had to object to some things, approach. You know, and I think a lot of those skill sets they picked up from YSL. You know, in YSL we had to watch for every single thing. You know, because we saw that the prosecutors they'll pull a quick one. You know, and so that wasn't new to this trial either.
Okay, that's good to hear. And what type of law do you practice? I know criminal, and what
Mhm.
else?
I do civil law too, so I do like premise liabilities,
Okay.
apartment shootings, shootings at businesses, and I do some automobile accidents.
You do automobile, okay.
Mhm.
Do you do like somebody suing someone? Those type of civil?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, I don't do any lawsuits like that.
So when in law school, you can't just do a general. You have to do specific to a particular side, or what kind of?
No, actually, in law school, you don't even. It's no. You decide what type of law you get, but the programs aren't tailored towards just one specific law. It's general, you know. And if there's certain classes that you want to take that that's in a certain area that you want to practice, you can. But no, everybody pretty much there's no. Oh, I want to get a criminal law. They put you take all these criminal law classes. No, it's pretty much general, and then you can take the classes you want to take that pertain to the area you want to practice.
Are you only licensed for the state of Georgia, or are you licensed for other states?
The state of Georgia, I'll be licensed in Mississippi in about a week. They're finalizing my application be finalized in less than a week, and I'll be licensed in Illinois.
Okay. Do you do federal cases as well, or not?
I just started. I used to do federal work. So Bruce is my mentor. So Bruce introduced me to murder, introduced me to federal work, and I was doing federal work for a while. I haven't and then I stopped, but I am starting back to do federal practice this year.
Have you ever done any appeals? Have you ever done any appeals?
No, I don't do appeal work. Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I don't do appeals.
All right. Are you willing to take some questions from the audience before I let you go?
Yeah, I'll take a few.
All right, guys. You guys ready for the questions? All right. This is not real, y'all. This is old. Yeah, he just answered that, Toria. She had asked, she was wondering if you were doing other states. Are you planning on doing other states other than Mississippi?
Mississippi, Illinois, and Florida.
Mississippi, Illinois, and Florida. Okay. All right. They are asking, are you married?
I'm not married yet.
Next question. How is Mr. Nichols?
Mr. Nichols is doing good. I spoke with his wife earlier today, and she was telling me that he's been transferred. He's settling in where he's in the camp he's at now, but he's doing well. He's ready to get home though.
So how long will he be there? Do you know?
I don't know.
So when will he be eligible for parole if they want?
I think that Mr. Nichols will be eligible for parole within the next 9 to 12 months, honestly. Yeah, because my memory serves me correctly.
We've been watching a lot of parole cases, and we're trying to get an understanding. In the state of Georgia, you are eligible for parole once you do 1/3 of your sentence, or how does that go?
Well, let me say this, because I'm no parole expert, and there are parole attorneys. It depends on the type of charge that you have, whether it's a violent charge or a drug charge. Depending on the percentage that you percentage of the sentence that you will serve. So an aggravated assault versus maybe a trafficking charge, right? Mm-hmm. Then the nature of the crime is determines the percentage that you serve.
Okay, so it's not across the board. You do 1/3. It's depending on what type of crime, the severity of the crime, and then they'll make a decision.
Right.
Okay, because before they used to do it where the public could watch the hearing. Now they don't allow public to watch the hearing anymore.
Okay.
And I'm wondering why, and I know you don't know why, so I can't ask you that question.
I don't.
All right. What was the most outrageous moment on the YSL trial for you?
The day that we discovered about the ex parte hearing, and the judge ordered Mr. Steele to be arrested. That was or the I don't know, outside of the courtroom, the Manettas, when Manettas walked in and they claimed that he had drugs that weren't prescribed, that he was trying to sneak in drugs. That was a huge moment. But I think the fireworks was the moment we found out about the ex parte.
Okay. CMT, she's one of my my mods who was we were deep into the case that you were on. She says, tell us about Sarah. First time working with her?
Oh no, absolutely not. Sarah and I, we try a lot of murder cases together. So a lot of times when you see duos, say Sarah and I are a duo. We haven't. This is the first trial case that we've tried together in Fulton. But Sarah and I, we try a lot of cases in the county, like Jones County. We go to we Macon Bibb County. We go to we've tried cases in I can't even think. Athens, Clark. Is that what it is? Athens, Clark?
Yeah.
County? Yeah. We go to the country. Sarah used to be a prosecutor.
Really?
10 years ago in Fulton County. Yeah, she started off as a prosecutor.
No wonder why she goes so hard. She's like, no nonsense.
Right, no nonsense at all. She doesn't play at all. Yeah, that's my girl, or that's my dog right there. We that's when we go to the South, they used to seeing us together.
Okay. All right. So I'm definitely gonna be checking you guys out. So if you see some text from me like, when's the next case you and Sarah's gonna be? I'm gonna be up there.
Okay. For sure.
All right, I'm gonna do one more question before we get you because I know you have to take care of your other stuff and you're working hard. So let me just do this last question. Let's see. We got this last question. It says, how does he feel about lyrics being used? Because they get ready to do that with the next YSL 2.
For sure, yeah. I don't. I think that's so. That's the most volatile of our basic human rights. We we have a fundamental right of expression, and when and when we get to a point where the DA's office or the government is prosecuting us for expressions, then we have totally obliterated the Constitution, right? The Constitution no longer protects us against freedom of expression. And that's what it is. A lot of times lyrics are not, they don't describe in full the backgrounds or the life that we live. A lot of times we're using it for marketing purposes because we know this is what people want to hear. This is what sells. So a lot of times that start to prosecute people on things that are not true. I have a close friend who, he grew up and he rapped about a lot of street shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he grew up in a middle upper class family, 2-parent household, a dog SUV, and so what he rapped about isn't his lifestyle, but guess what? It sells, and so Lord forbid he gets in trouble in the prosecution to get these records and prosecute him. Here they are prosecuting him based on a lie or, just make believe, just or expression that's intended to sell and not to be believed, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that it's weak. It's a weak way of and it's a backdoor way of punishing people for simply expressing themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's sad. It's sad that even when social media, they were using social media like crazy in your case. Mm-hmm. And how many people get on social media and just like fake stuff?
Yeah, all the time. We know that's what social media is known for.
Lies and more lies and lies. People acting like they have big old cars and standing next to somebody else's car.
For real, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you taking the time out and keeping your promise with me of coming on to my channel. So
for sure. I thank you for having me. I thank your followers for staying on and listening. I appreciate the questions. For sure. I look forward to the next time.
Definitely. And we'll be following you in your career with the next cases. Now, wait, one more question.
Okay.
YSL, are you getting a whole bunch of cases because of YSL now? Because that was a high profile case.
I wouldn't say that my cases are just overflowing, but I get calls every day, and and people tell me that they've seen me on YSL, or they'll mention it, or people send me when they send them to me and say he was on YSL, and he's like, oh, I hear you was on YSL, and so that I still listen. I tell people all the time, I'm always going to be a YSL attorney. You hear me? Okay. I'll always be associated with YSL. That's in my career, and I'm almost at 10 years. That's the biggest, and that's the biggest case that I've worked on thus far. We talk about it lasting 2 years, and it did, but I learned so much from that case just by being a spectator. And I know y'all that they didn't hear a lot from me. But I did a lot of work in that case, But
they've seen a lot of you, because every time somebody's like, "Who that man in that black, gray suit?" That you were the fashion individual in there. They would see the suits because you wore those colors.
I had to, I like to look good for sure.
Well, anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Gardner. It's been a pleasure. I really, really appreciate you coming by and gracing us with your presence.
No problem. Thank you for having me, Miss Sylvia.
All right. Have a good one.
You as well.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. How was that? Because he squeezed out some time for us, so I didn't want to be overbearing. Y'all know me. I like to get it done and move out the way. But, you guys, I have some interesting thing to talk to you guys about. You guys know yesterday I was supposed to come on and give you guys some 411 in regarding to Sonia, right? Well, I'm going to give you some 411 right now. Okay. All those who's been following the Nesto and Sonia, Nesto's case, but Sonia is a person that has been very, very vocal in regard to his innocence, right? Well, you guys did get some. I know it's been going on. Okay, y'all. we're going to bed now, okay? Because it's almost 4 o'clock and I want to get a little bit of sleep because I want to go to church in the morning. Well, this morning, and I will see you guys later. Thank you for staying up with me. Thank you for JT. Why are you not in the bed? Pretty pretty chick. I'm going to bed now, okay? Tall glass, go to sleep. Night, night, everybody. Night, night. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one for another. Bye.
Thank you for watching the infamous Soviet channel, where laughter and fun make up our panel. Together we build this digital spree. We appreciate you and our growing family. With mods by our side and chat flowing free in this online space. It's just you and me, we laugh until tears roll down like the rain. In this virtual world, you ease all my pains. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We cherish the moments, the highs and lows, from the latest gossip to stories untold. You're more than a viewer, you're part of the crew in this space of ours. It's all because of you. This digital world where emotion is shared, every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign, enjoys what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. This digital world where emotion is shared, every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign, enjoys what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click